Welcome to the KMBest podcast. We have a ton of Marvel Snap to talk about today. Marvel Snap news, Marvel Snap tournaments, Marvel Snap cards, just a lot of things to discuss. And I think we're going to start with the Golden Gauntlet, which was won by a friend of mine, Derek, with a very old school bounce deck that, if we're being perfectly honest, is almost certain to get crushed on ladder the second you walk into any ladder game with it, because it is just absolutely 0%er against combo decks, of which he faced none on the day, thanks to a 40% presence from Mobius and Mobius. Mobius being the second most played card in the entire tournament. What does that make you feel, Gerry, when I say that sentence?
I feel like there are a couple layers to tournament metagaming, and sometimes it's, I'll just play the best deck. I'll play the thing that beats the best deck. I'll play the thing that beats the thing that beats the best deck. Or you do something a little bit deeper where you think that a thing is maybe going to not be super popular or is going to get beaten up because other people are going to do your job for you, and then you play things like this bounce deck. It could also be a situation where, it's your friend. You could probably speak to this, but I don't know, maybe you're on level 10, but end up on level 5. Like you've gone too far, but it ends up circling around and being on the correct level. Or you just like, I played the thing that I like and it happened to be well positioned because of reasons. That could also happen too.
He had another deck. He did pretty poorly with it in a previous sort of warm-up tournament, and he audibled to this one. That is what I can tell you about the deck building process here, which was basically like, if I run into a single combo deck, I'm dead, but I will have an experience advantage in the Thanos matchup, and I will be immune to the people teching for the Thanos matchup. Just, if I ever run into Mr. Negative, I'm dead. If I run into Living Tribunal, I'm dead. If I run into Move Bounce, I'm dead. Avoided all those matchups entirely.
Yes. No, it sounds like on the correct level and just did a great job. And it's obviously a little bit fortunate at the very least, but
you don't win tournaments without being a little bit lucky.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, the whole thing about card games is sometimes you make every correct decision and you lose, or sometimes you make a bunch of correct decisions, but one of them snowballs the whole thing away, or sometimes you make a bunch of really bad decisions and win anyway. Like, that's how it works, right? And so to chalk this up to like, oh, matchup luck, like that is a causal relationship here. It mattered that he didn't get those matchups, but also it was a correct decision to say, I'm going to run that risk and assume that other people are going to make that risk, are going to mitigate that risk for me.
Yeah, that's part of the plan, is to not get paired against them. Part of it is I might have to dodge a little bit, but for clarity, this was like normal Swiss tournament type of thing? I saw that
it was run by a bunch of like the people on the back end were former Magic people. Like, it's just
okay.
It was run in much the same style as you would expect, personally.
Yeah, so you have all loss to give. I think if anything, you are maybe unfortunate if you queue into those sorts of decks more than once. So overall, good plan, and love it when a good plan comes together,
I also love it when a good plan comes together. My microphone just came unhooked from my desk. So I love it. This is one of those things where it's like, it's definitely one of those things I could have played around. Like, this is not the easiest of desks to hook a microphone onto, and I have hooked it onto a thing that probably that's a mistake of a thing to hook it onto. So for now, I'm just holding my microphone arm and talking into it this way until I can figure out how to get it back on there. Which, fun fact about me, I'm bad at left-right, or at least at understanding which direction left-right is on something that is oriented differently for me.
Yeah, like upside down screw, which is probably what you're fucking with right now.
Yep, that is exactly what's happening right now. So I've been turning it both directions, and I'm not sure which one is right, but I know both is wrong. So I've opted for the incorrect thing. I think I've found the right way to turn it now. It took 3 tries, and it was the first one. I just talked myself out of it. But we're good. Where a normal podcast might cut, such details as technical issues, I, in my infinite wisdom, think it makes me more human and relatable, really, personally.
And I was taking a picture of my cat.
Solid. I could barely see it thanks to the glare, but I could see the outline
Well,
of a cat, and frankly, that's enough to trigger the reflex of feeling like something is cute.
yeah, it's enough, and I mean, I also have a blanket that is kind of the same color as her. They're sort of cream colored, both of
Mm.
them. So she does just kind of blend into the blanket anyway, which was not on purpose. I had the blanket before I got her, but it was a very nice surprise, you know?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you have like some unexpected synergy, that's always a nice thing to just sort of pick up for free. I could totally see that. So with regards to a couple of other standout decks, obviously, there was Sizer on Move Bounce. Now, I don't know if you know who Sizer is. Our audience probably does. You probably know him as the $50 80 cubes guy.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, so like it is abundantly clear to me that he is exactly as good as you would think. Like, like it's just like he's like he would in this analogy. This would be like Marcio Carvalho, where it's like you're already one of the best in the world. It's unclear why you need to do this in the first place.
Yeah, just time saver, I guess.
Yeah,
Or I guess it gets to a point where it's like, you know, maintaining number one for respect feels like doing your chores to some degree. And you're like,
yeah,
yo, can I just skip this?
yeah. Yeah, but like this is a guy who is like I think a very real shout. If you wanted to list like the best players in the world, he would. Anyone leaving him out would be a huge mistake, right? So it's like
Yeah.
someone with like
I
a
mean,
massive amount of play skill and a very hyper specialized aim for that play skill, which is like he's basically the only player who can play move bounce really well.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like that deck's hard to play,
Yep.
and if you top eight a tournament with it, it is likely because you are pretty good at it.
Yep.
And you're telling me that likely the best? Well, I
Yeah.
believe that.
Yeah. I think he very really, very easily could be. I also want to shout out my boy Husky Puppies, who went 7-2 on move bounce, so like just outside the top eight there, on that bubble. And
Hey,
yeah, I mean move bounce,
second ain't bad.
move
Second in the world.
bounce, yeah, move bounce is a great deck. I hate it. I don't think it should exist because it's a deck that has a skill curve of like, are you one of 25 people in the world who is qualified to play it? If not, don't even touch it. But if you are, it's like one of the best decks in the world.
I really enjoyed playing it and learning it. Even like the very, very early versions, like pre-Madam Web, whereas like splashing mini move packages into bounce or whatever. Obviously, it's a little bit more complicated now, but
Yeah.
just getting it to a point where I could play it proficiently, and then at that point you sort of plateau, and it's like, what more do I have to learn here, right? And then trying to play it on ladder while I'm autopiloting effectively
Can't
does
do
not
it,
work
yeah.
well.
Yeah. One thing I was really impressed with watching Sizer, because I guess for people unaware, I commentated the tournament. I was really impressed with the speed of his plays. I'm a fast player, and the speed with which he played was really impressive to me because it was just like, oh, I've been in this situation before. I know exactly what my line is. I don't have to think about it at all. I've got this. And it was just a very impressive performance on the whole from him.
Semi-related to that, I played against Shota Yusoka
Yeah.
in an arena tournament this weekend, so online.
Yeah.
Japanese player known for playing very, very fast. And I roped against him on turn 4, and I felt so bad.
Yeah, you're a piece of shit for that. So it's a
I
horrible
know.
thing to do.
And I mean, I did it because he was kicking my ass, and I had to figure out a way out of it.
Yeah.
Failed to do so, and then just like died on turn 6 or something.
Sure.
So maybe that's sufficient. I don't know. But I do respect the hell out of people who can play that fast and like play crisp and clean.
What was the tournament you were in?
It was a Jerry's board tournament mostly. It was an
It's like one of
arena
the
direct.
Yeah, like okay, so you had to play against Shota Yasuoka in an arena direct. What a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it was round 2.
That sucks so bad. Like,
No, that's what I want.
I know that's what you
give
want,
me a
but it's like
challenge.
imagine just like, all right, I paid $40 or whatever the entry fee is, and then you just get gate kept by like a guy on the short list for best player of all time.
Yeah, that's gas though.
Okay. I just want free value, right? Like when I invest $40, I want to turn that into 55. Okay? You feel me? I want to.
Yeah, I don't even think playing the arena directs does that though.
Is that the Win-A-Box?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean it used to be like, oh, if you go 7-2 or whatever, or 7 wins before 2 losses, you get a box. Now it's like at some interval you get a box. If you get another win, you get 2 boxes, whatever.
And then you have to pay taxes on them.
Yeah, they tax you for MSRP, which is crazy.
It's insane. But like, you win a tournament. Like, actually, I think the real winning move in one of those is like just don't enter. Maybe losing to Shota is the optimal thing to happen there.
That's why I referred to it as a Gerry is bored tournament. And Shota beat me so badly, I closed the thing, and then I told my friend to, remind me to play this in the morning. Or don't. I don't really care. And he didn't, and I didn't, and I just remembered it, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I won one, dropped the Arena Direct.
Nice. It's really impressive that you managed to drop a tournament that doesn't even have like time requirements for rounds and any of that. Like, it's a real testament to your skill set.
I was bored. I built a sealed deck. I played 2 rounds. I was not bored anymore. I got my fix.
It solved the problem.
Take my 40.
You don't want to just like you refuse to just like engage in ladder on Arena, presumably.
Oh, I've been bronze for years at this point. Yeah. I'll play a little bit, get up to, silver or something, winning all my matches, learn very little, and then that's it.
That makes sense to me. The rest, I think it's like we talked about Sizer, we've talked about Derek. Let's talk a little bit about my boy Butt. This is the only deck in the top 8 that I had an actual hand in making. By which I mean he sent it to me, and he had Hydra Bob and Red Guardian instead of Killmonger and Uncle Ben. And I basically told him it was unplayable if he didn't get Killmonger into it, which I think is largely true. And Uncle Ben really only exists as an excuse for us to play an extra 1-drop and be a Killmonger deck in Pixie. Because I think if you don't have Killmonger in that deck, you're just losing every Thanos matchup.
Yeah, I actually played some with that deck because it looked pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Not a ton, and I wasn't like over the moon about it, but it was definitely solid, definitely a contender. And I mean, certainly well built, well constructed.
Yeah, one of the hallmarks of Butt's deck building is just hidden information that allows him to be an aggressive snapper. And doing that in an open deck list format is, I think, honestly very impressive to me. He was the only player that I think approached the format. Not the only player. I think actually Ika approached it a similar way, where it was like, I need to specifically introduce, Ika also brought a Pixie deck, this level of uncertainty in my opponent of what they have to play around. I need to create that and move it towards my advantage. And while I think right now the ways in which people are doing that are fairly clunky necessarily, it's a principle that should be counted on as like an important thing. Like, that's just a fundamental tournament thing. If there's going to be open deck lists, introducing some RNG, getting an Iron Patriot in there, getting a copycat in there, that's going to be valuable to you. More valuable in that context than enclosed.
Yeah, I played a open deck list, like regional championship for Magic a few weeks ago, and I when I approach those tournaments, I don't jump through hoops just because of the format and the fact that it is like that. But if I can do something that's basically very low opportunity cost that makes it so I am less easy to play around, I think that is huge. So, for example, I played like a main deck Spell Pierce when if it was closed deck list, I probably wouldn't have. And it's, it's not the worst card in the world. It's pretty good against most people. And then in game 1 against a person, played a card on turn 3 and I Spell Pierced it. And it's just like, God damn it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the copycat analogy, I think, where it's just like, it's just pretty good. And then sometimes it'll just make it impossible for them to understand what you're doing.
Yeah, and knowing that, like, the coast is clear, like, my opponent literally can never do this sort of effect or whatever, it makes their job so much easier. And the times when you do happen to have it, and it is, like, a full punish, well worth it.
Yep. So, outside of that, I mean, Thanos was still pretty good in the tournament. There were 4 Thanos decks, I believe, in the top 8, alongside a clog deck, which, I don't want to shout out clog. Deeply cursed and evil archetype, but I guess it's the good guy when Thanos is around.
I guess to that end, I've been the villain and I have lost the clog. And
they
didn't seem like the hero.
I gotta say, the build of clog that made it the top 8, Ui's always build of clog. It's a pretty unique take that seems very specialized for battle mode, basically, where it's like there's a daredevil in it, like the top end is basically just a cannonball, and that kind of thing is another deck where it's like, I'm not gonna say you can't play it on ladder, but I feel like it's probably like mildly better in battle mode than ladder. The thing about ladder versus conquest in terms of metagames, largely they are the same, but ladder versus open deck list tournament, suddenly there are meaningfully different things that are going to show up there. Like,
yeah.
Like, I think largely there are like things that are more important in a battle mode, like just general reactions to locations, the ability to turn RNG into your favor. That stuff matters a lot. But it also matters on ladder. It's just people don't really want to build for it on ladder. Bad matchups matter less on ladder because you can mitigate them with snapping. They matter more in a battle mode where it's like that is a full loss. There's nothing you can do to mitigate that, right? You can't get it back. And in open deck lists, I think like when I look at that list, I see a list that I don't know if that player would be playing that on ladder.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Like, I don't know. I mean, when and if you dabble in conquest or something like this, would you prefer to be like a good stuff cards kind of deck where hopefully you have room to outplay your opponent? Or would you prefer to have a thing that has like very polarizing matchups so that like if you do queue into something, you don't just get daggered by, having a bad hand or them having a good draw or whatever?
The more I have to win in a row, the more I want to just be a good stuff deck. So in this instance, you got to go like 8-1 to make the top 8, right? I want to be playing something that is consistent. I want to be playing something that is consistent, and I want to be playing something that is as immune to bad location RNG as it can get. And I think that's part of what makes Thanos so good, which is it's not immune to bad location RNG, but between Mobius, Reality Stone, Cosmo, all the tech cards, it is very able to create good outcomes out of most RNG situations.
Yeah, you realize the math doesn't necessarily work on that though, right?
How do you mean?
You're trying to win you're trying to go 8-1 in coin flips versus, say, where would you put the like clog versus Thanos matchup, for example?
Well, I mean, I think the clog versus Thanos matchup is a coin flip. Like, I think it's much worse for the clog player than people think it is. Maybe with that specific deck, it's not. I don't know. But I actually think that, like, low key, I kind of think Thanos wins the matchup by a little bit.
In the 2 games I think I played against it, it did not feel that way, but I'm certainly not an expert.
How much Strange Supreme did you draw?
And that is not a great sample size.
Sure.
Anyway, take a deck that's like a 70% matchup against like 80% of the metagame or something. I feel like the math just bears out.
I would
much
do that
better than
if that deck existed. I just don't think that deck exists. Like a deck that's 70% against 80% of the metagame? Yeah, you're telling me you got a deck that beats Thanos every time? You're telling me you got a deck that beats Thanos and Surfer and Scream every time? Yeah, I'd play that deck. Are you kidding me?
Well, I imagine that people feel that way if they're choosing to play clog. No?
No. I think that was just like again, maybe his build is better. I haven't played his build in that matchup. I haven't like done any intensive testing or anything like that. I do have some legitimate wonders where it's like, I can see how the Daredevil actually, like the fact that like he feels the need to run the Daredevil is indicative of why I think the Thanos Clog matchup is way closer than people think it is.
I do think that makes sense, but that could also just be like a training wheels aspect. Like, I don't want to mess it up. But
that's like the best player in France. The guy who played that deck. Like that feels to me like saying like, I am sick of Thanos correctly reading my turn 5 clogs and then winning the game because they like played cards in the lane that I put my stuff in, right? Like, and that happens a lot. Like in if you're not playing that Daredevil, I think.
You ever leave your house for 3 days, get home,
No.
and then grab water out of your fridge? Yeah, I guess leaving for 3 days.
You
I
lost me
you,
at leave your
but-
house for 3 days. Yeah.
All right, well let's ignore that part. You ever grab a water out of your fridge and for some reason it just tastes different?
No.
Just water doesn't taste like water. I don't know what's
you-
going on with me right now.
Have you had water in the last 3 days?
Oh yeah, a lot actually.
Good for you. So is it just like, is it a bottled water? Is it tap water? Like what's going on here?
I mean, I'm drinking bottle versus like filtered tap
Okay.
from my friend's house who's like an hour and a half away. So could be something there. But it's like this doesn't even taste like how I remember it. You know what I mean? Now I'm like, what did they put in my water?
They took the fluoride out. You've been so used to the fluoride. They're taking the fluoride out of the water. You know they're actually doing that in some states. They're like, we got to take the fluoride out of the water because it's like the government mind control chip.
Yeah. RFK just like came to my house and
it's messed up, man.
Like, I got you, bro.
I have pretty great teeth. As far as I know, I've never had a cavity. I could have a million right now. If I do, they don't hurt. But largely, it's because I haven't been to the dentist in a decade. But before then, like I have poor dental hygiene. I have never had a cavity. And the major reason for that, I think, is that I drink a shitload of tap water. Like I always have. That fluoride has had a meaningfully positive impact on my life. That's all I'll say.
Shout out fluoride ?
Yeah, I feel like if you're going to be RFK Jr., the least you can do if you take the fluoride out of the water is put some like HGH in the water. You know what I mean? Give me a little bit of boost.
I don't even know what that is.
Human growth hormone. My man, put some steroids in the water. You know?
Word.
Put some steroids in the water. If you're going to take my teeth, you can at least let me get more jacked. I mean, we know, RFK Jr., that you not only have no problem with steroids, obviously, as a 70-year-old man, but also with injecting yourself with things to help a brother out, man. Like, that's all I'm saying.
Anyway, clog. Cool deck. Very fun.
Clog, like my veins when they start injecting HGH into my water.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like my
all
arteries.
Them little hobgoblins running around.
So I guess we've sort of dissembled enough. It's probably time to talk Thanos.
What changed? What have you been thinking about? How's your opinion changed? I mean,
I think he still probably has to eat a nerf. There have been a lot of gags where it's like, Thanos didn't win the tournament. Let's not nerf. It's like, no, nerf the shit out of that guy. What are you guys talking about?
Well, they're 4 in top 8. What was the metagame breakdown like?
About 36% Thanos.
I mean, yeah, that number went up.
Yep. Sure did. It was it's a pretty good deck. It's a pretty good deck. It's just safe. It's just like Thanos is always better. We talked about like the ways in which, you know, mitigating RNG or at least turning it to your advantage is such a valuable thing. And how Thanos sort of gets that for free with Reality Stone, but not even just Reality Stone. By like having all these tech cards, it sort of polices the range of outcomes very well. And
it does, for sure.
That makes it a very potent battle mode deck. I do feel like it's such a known quantity that, you know, if this were Magic, you probably wouldn't ban it, right? But, I mean, maybe you would just on play rate.
Well, but you have like sideboards and stuff too, and it's possible that there are more dedicated hate cards rather than something like Killmonger or whatever, right? So it's an entirely different animal, but I feel like there have been things like this that have eaten bans. I don't know, especially if you look at like Legacy or whatever, they just ban every playable creature that can get backed up by a daze. So
the way you said that makes me feel like you disagree with that ban strategy.
Well, it seems silly to have that list be like 5 cards long at this point, and like Daze is still legal, and you're not heavily curating the format. It's like you're just gonna ban every good creature you make. Like you're gonna stop making good creatures.
Boy, they are not going to stop making good creatures.
Yeah, if anything, I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be worse. They're gonna
Yep.
make more good creatures.
Right, so this is really an argument to ban days.
Well, I mean, yeah, at that point, you probably do have to take a look at the format where it's like, do we have combo held in check?
Yeah.
Because this is a pretty useful stopgap, which is true. But I still feel like you're like, well, this is the legacy ban list, and then this is all the good creatures. Those are also banned, but like, you know.
Yeah, like here's a bunch of cards that are banned because here's a bunch of cards that are banned because they turn 1 you, and then here's like a 2/1 that draws cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's legitimate. Like there's a 1/3 that draws cards and a 1/2 that draws cards for 2 mana, and they're just like, yeah, ban those, gotta ban them.
Gotta get rid of them. Like that is sort of my understanding of how that works, where it's just like you can't have like a dude on the board that's letting you counter my shit, okay? You're not allowed to apply pressure while countering my actions, okay? It's not legal.
Yeah. Killing me on turn 1, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll allow that.
I do feel on some level that like I appreciate that kind of ban list style where it's like we know what our format is about. What people want here is somewhere they can be stupid. They want to do super broken degenerate things. What they don't want is to get Delver of Secrets.
But like Delver is unbanned and has been upwards of like 30% of the metagame for a decade at this point.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
I actually have no argument as to why Delver would be okay and none of this other stuff is.
it's like so borderline. It's just so like right there.
Yeah. I got nothing. I'm sorry.
Like that shit could have gotten banned easily.
Yeah.
In a slightly different timeline, but has managed to live, and now it's just like, well, Delver's not even the card. It's like you ban Dragon's Rage Chandler instead because it's the same thing but better mostly. So I don't know. It's just weird. It all depends on what your goals are, right?
They set the line at exactly Delver, and anytime anything gets better, it's just time to hammer it.
Yeah. Like they send death after you. And it also does not last long. You know, just like 2 months after it comes out, murdered.
So what would you do to Thanos if you wanted to see? Like, here's my thing. I think if they murder Thanos, I'm gonna feel really bad about every Mr. Negative I see, because I was playing on ladder where it's like basically what happened was like I was like, oh, I'll play like a Darkhawk bounce deck and try to beat some Thanos players, and I ran into Mr. Negative, discard, destroy, and it's like those aren't even necessarily good decks, but I'm sick of getting like, oh, I got comboed, and I couldn't think of another deck where I was like, well, I'm not getting fucking comboed here, other than Thanos. Like it was just like, I refuse. If you want to say I refuse to get bullshitted, Thanos is the guy, and I actually will be sad to lose that.
Yeah, I mean, what you're describing is just Glenn Jones watching your account from his couch with his dogs, and he's just like, "Oh, changing decks, huh? I guess we'll put you into this queue now."
It worked though. Like I switched to Thanos and I was climbing, right? Like it worked, right? Because Thanos matches up well into all the combo bullshit.
That's because he got sleepy.
Oh, he like fell asleep, and
he accidentally left you in the combo.
No, that happens to most of my viewers. You know, that's
I know.
Like, fall asleep and watch KMBest, famously calm ASMR streamer.
And I know this is true, just like how RFK came and took the fluoride out of my water.
Yeah, they're related,
undisputable facts.
He put
I said this, and you're going to put it on the internet, therefore it is a fact.
Yeah, he took the fluoride out and he put in Ambien, and that's
the Ambien. Did you know that was a magic thing? Did I tell you about that?
No.
Oh God, yeah, we'll talk about that later.
No. You're gonna tell me about it now.
Wait, which episode is this?
25.
Oh, this is supposed to be the Gerry one.
It was. For those who are unaware,
it tastes so weird. Why does it taste weird?
Just drink the water, man.
I am.
I asked Gerry if he wanted to make this one the Gerry episode, and he responded with 3 letters, UGH, and then never brought it up again.
That's my way of saying okay.
Yeah. I read that as, don't make me do this. Like, that was my...
It was basically like an oh shit, but resigning myself to the fact that I was going to have to do it.
Right. I don't want
Because
to make,
otherwise
like,
I would just say no.
well, you understand that, like, the whole premise of this podcast is that neither
It's
of
the
us
KMBest
do
podcast.
Yeah, but neither of us do anything we don't want to do. Like this.
You've brought up several things that I would prefer to not talk about.
Really?
For the record.
Such as? I can't tell if you froze.
No. I'm just not answering you.
Well, I thought that was a good gag. All I'm saying is the whole premise for me is just like, this is the place where it's just vibe out. So if it ends up being something where it's like, you feel like you have to do it, that does not vibe.
Yeah, this is not
premise.
a thing. This is not a thing that I have to do. And you also started by saying we have a lot of Marvel Snap stuff to talk about. And we're recording this on Memorial Day in mid-afternoon, and I have people outside grilling. So I would just go hang out with
When
them
you say you
instead of
have
telling
people
about
outside grilling, what do you mean?
Just friends.
So you're recording a podcast right now with friends at your house?
Yeah, fuck them.
Jesus Christ. This man
The white man will never not podcast if he has an opportunity to podcast. That is just a law of America. That is our God-given right and what our veterans fought for. I do this podcast to honor them.
I will exercise my God-given right.
White, blue, red.
I mean, it's like pink, but yeah, I'm with you.
It's gradients.
Yeah, sure.
It's faded. It was red, and it's just faded because it's so well loved and worn.
Right. Yeah.
You understand?
That sounds entirely believable. As if
I love my country. I love my country so much that I wore out all of my things that were even remotely flag colored.
That's a good gag. I feel like it would be a better gag if all your vapes weren't disposable.
Don't tell our troops. Don't tell them. Certainly don't tell them this came from China. Jesus.
Oh my God. Yeah, you can't have that.
They would lose it.
Yeah, they would.
No, it's not like my friends. It's like I live in someone's basement and it's like her party. So it's not like I am.
Understood. That makes more sense because this is just one of those situations where it's like, okay, am I for the record, the basement you live in, my basement.
Yep.
We don't let you out to like go to parties very often. So it's like a big day for you. Like this is
I also don't know that I get to go outside, but I can look out the window. That is allowed.
Yeah, and I think that's really all someone like you needs, frankly. Like going outside is for good boys.
Which I am not. We've established that many times.
Yeah. So I suppose it's probably also time to talk about Elixir, who totally face planted. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I guess before I talk about Elixir, though, I do want to say, like, very specifically, I think people have a very low opinion of Esme Cuckoo right now. I think people are super low on her. And I frankly think that she is a card that if Thanos didn't exist, everyone would hate the shit out of for making Mr. Negative really good. Like, I think she's actually kind of messed up in that deck.
Yeah, I think she is too, certainly. I don't know. I feel like people could hate her anyway. Like if they hate the fact that Negative is existing right now, I mean, I guess it's good that you got two things to hate instead of just one. It makes it so it's like less intense,
Yeah.
which is weird. It's like, oh, I really like this game, except for this one thing. Like, that sounds better, but it is actually better if it's like, oh, I hate this game except for these multiple things, because you just hate them a little bit less. You only have so much hate, I feel like.
Well, you only have so much hate. That's why you live in the basement.
Nowadays.
Yeah,
I used to be a bottomless font of hate.
I currently am a bottomless font of hate. It's a good way to be. It's my God-given right as an American to be a podcaster who contributes nothing but negativity to the world. That's like our number one export.
True.
That's like basically all we do.
That is true.
So let's say, hypothetically, if you were a podcaster who contributed nothing but negativity to the world.
My God.
You like that? You like the Ben Shapiro?
Speaking of fucking things that I hate.
Anyway. I've got that one in my back pocket ever since the AI video, or like it wasn't even AI at the time. Remember when people used to do impressions? It was someone doing, I think, an impression of Ben Shapiro singing WAP. You familiar with this?
No. I don't even know that I've heard that song, but I do know what it stands for.
It's I don't know, it wasn't an impression. He read the lyrics out and got mad at them. And so someone took the lyrics and superimposed them over the beat. And so it's just Ben Shapiro going like, bring a bucket and a mop for that, etc., etc.
Okay.
It's a good gag.
Now I know.
Yeah.
Now I know the song. I feel like I've heard it.
Yes. That I do enjoy the juxtaposition there. It gets less funny when like a guy like that tries to like lean into it himself. It's like, haha, I'm Ben Shapiro, I'm doing a rap song. It's like, no, actually, I hate you. Fuck off. This is only funny as long as you're the butt of the joke. It's not funny if you get to make it.
Well, also it is just really pathetic. I know that some people, I don't know, might see it as like, oh, he did successfully reclaim this thing, but no, he didn't.
No,
you can still very easily make fun of him, and
yep,
like you can never reclaim the thing in that position. You just can't if someone decides to fight you on it.
Yep, it's over. And speaking of things that are contributing, basically nothing. Elixir, not doing much here.
Listen, I had the weekend quest, win 8 games with Elixir in your deck. I also had some destroy missions that I was slacking on, So I was just like, 2 birds, 1 stone. I love a good deal. I love value. I don't think I finished that Elixir quest. It's not like I played for like hours or whatever, but I definitely played more than 8 games. I might have played more than 16 games. It's hard to say.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't think it's bad. It's kind of similar to Esme, I guess, where it's like, this is not what I would describe as a weak card. It is just the things that you can do with it are not strong right now compared to things like the output of Thanos. And so it just leaves the card in kind of an awkward position.
I feel like that's far more true of Esme than this guy. Where
it is. I definitely agree with that, to be clear.
Okay. Like, it's like there's levels to that kind of cope, right? And with Esme, I think like genuinely, if Mobius wasn't as common as he is, that's just a really good card. Like, that's just like a card that is good and is one of the better cards in Mr. Negative and is just very solid. With this guy, it's like there's nothing to do with him that is any good.
There is too much delay on it, I feel like, even. If that were removed somehow, I don't know if it's like make it activate or just make it one of your cards that has been destroyed, or I don't know, this turn or last turn or something.
Or the release of the data mined Kid Omega, because like that's the thing with the delay, right? Like right now the problem is like you have to kill off the thing that you want to revive on turn 5. Which means you have to play the thing that you want to revive on turn 4 or before. And it's like, that sucks. But what if you could play the thing you wanted to revive on turn 5 because you had an activate destroy card, like Kid Omega? Oh, suddenly, much easier to play this guy.
Yeah, for sure. So when is that card coming out?
Great question. we literally have no idea. Like it was data mined and supposed to come out this season. I did a whole video about how I thought the Series 4 cars for this season, Hellion, Kid Omega, and Mercury, were stronger than the Series 5 cars for this season, and were like the main thing to get excited about for this season. And then they didn't release any of them in this season.
Mercury's tight.
Mercury is something. I don't know if she's tight. It's a scary card to me. Like that card is just like, do we want to bring Professor X Cannonball back? Is that just like a fine thing to do?
So that's what I mean is card is tight in that it is strong. I'm not saying that like, oh, it is gonna do good things for the metagame or whatever. Like I realistically can't know that.
Sure.
So yeah, card is very strong. Any card that is strong is potentially problematic in those ways, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm excited for stuff like that because it does make it so that there are like new puzzles, and maybe those puzzles get old pretty damn quick, but I still enjoy content, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a content creator. I've officially become one. I feel like that. I'm trying to reform. There was a guy flaming me in the chat, and I looked up why he was mad at me, and I was like, you know what? I did kind of act like a dick, and I apologized to him. I'm a new man, Gerry. Wow. I'm turning over a new leaf.
That's sick, actually.
Yeah, we'll see how long this lasts, you know. But
oh, of course,
yeah.
But it's also different, where it's like you could have been a dick to someone else, and you're like, well, that one was for good reason, though. You know, I'm not going to apologize for that.
Well, I think that attitude is what I'm trying to get over. Where it's like, even if I feel like I was justified in being a dick, what harm does it do? Like, to just be like, yeah, I can see how that would have hurt you. And even if I feel like, you know, you were being a dick, who cares? I should apologize for what I did regardless.
Don't start shit, there won't be shit. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's like, does that benefit me in any way?
No, it doesn't. Yeah, certainly not.
Yeah, but like, is that a good way to go through life? I don't know.
I feel like it just... obviously, there are better ways to solve like any sort of issues like this than just like, you know, I'm not going to apologize because I wasn't 100% in the wrong. I was only like 40% in the wrong.
Yeah, see, that's one of those things. It's like, I don't know what percentage in the wrong I was here, but I feel like it was a chunk. It was a pretty big chunk.
And yeah, it's still hard for me to like apologize first in those situations, especially if a person is like going hard on like, oh, you were a dick to me. And it's like,
yeah,
you were a dick to me first. Like, what do you mean?
I mean, I kind of just think that, I mean, it's just one of those things, right? Like, someone comes in your chat, says something, you're like, you know, shut up. And you don't really think about that as like a whole human being, you know? Like, that's a sequence of numbers on a screen.
No, but I know what you mean.
Someone reacting like that means that they were a whole human being and they were hurt by that. And so it's like, okay, I have to stop thinking of people as numbers on screens. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but I'm trying. I went through my unbanned requests, and anyone who sent one in that wasn't like, you know, eat shit loser, got unbanned. So I did that. Just generally trying to be a slightly more positive influence in the community.
Hell yeah. No, respect, man.
Yeah, again, wait to see how long it lasts. I haven't gone on a lost streak yet. All right.
From experience, I think it does feel good. Obviously, it helps when there are some moments of like positive reinforcement that come from it, where it's like, oh, this is a good thing that happened as a result of me actively trying to change.
Sure.
That does make it a lot easier and help you stay consistent, basically. Yeah, but even in the face of that, without that, I think that you can continue.
I mean, I hope I do. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't necessarily want to apologize to the guy because of I want him to like me. It's just like, I have to do that for me, you know? Like, if I'm gonna try to be a decent human being, I can't rely forever on like, oh, it's my space. I get to say whatever I want. I get to do whatever I want. I get to act however I want. Because while it is true it's my space, and I can use that as an excuse to do those things, it doesn't mean I should.
Yeah, I think you know where the line is for things that are likely to upset or hurt people.
I don't think I
And
do, but we'll try.
I think you do. Like you can certainly stack rank them against each other,
Mm.
you know, right? So where you draw the line is somewhat arbitrary. Like I don't think you're ever gonna, toe the line of I will never offend anyone or whatever. But yeah, you just have to figure out like where the line is, where you're comfortable with it, because if you're gonna apologize to every single aggrieved person,
Yeah. No, I like it is in this situation. I looked into it and it's like, you know what? I probably did overreact. I was probably just mad. I don't like when people come into my chat and they're like, the thing you're doing sucks, right? Or like the decision you made is bad. Like, just obviously that sucks. But I don't think I
yeah.
needed to pop off the way I did. And so in that case, I think a majority of the blame goes to me. Something like that.
I never liked popping off on people in that situation. I liked dunking on them, but in an informative way. You're
Mm.
like, actually, you're wrong. Here's why. And I derived great joy from that.
See,
So I don't
that
know if that's something you can do.
that requires the ability to be like smart and informative. Two things I'm spotty on.
Eh,
I think that like there is this thing that does bother me when it comes to like viewership, where it's like I'll be trying something and people be like, "This thing you're trying sucks," and it's like, well, how the fuck? Like, what do you just want me to never try anything? Like, I just like it's like I
hello,
don't.
hello, viewer here. Why are you not playing Thanos? I just want to watch you play Thanos
But they
every
don't.
goddamn day.
But that's the thing.
No, I
They
know.
don't.
I know.
Like,
That's
it's
what I'm
like
getting at. That's what I'm
yes.
getting at.
Like it's like I think the deck you're building is not good. It's like, okay, that doesn't help me. Why would you tell me that?
Yeah,
Like,
I streamed for 8 months, and also like you can go look at, my tournament history. Decks I've chosen to play in tournaments where there's like
it's
money
true.
on the line. Sometimes
Yeah.
real money. And you can find many instances where I did not play the like best deck, right? And so people come in my stream all the time, and this is a stream where at no point did I ever play what the best deck was. But yeah, they did the same thing where it's just like, hey, don't you know that this is not the best deck? This other thing is. It's like, yeah, I was
I
completely
had no
unaware.
idea. Yeah.
Thanks for the info. You're so smart.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like that's pretty much how the interaction went down, and I was just like, shut the fuck up. It's just like that was unnecessary of me. Like it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that was just me being a shithead. And so that's what I apologize for. It's like, yeah, no, that was a disrespectful ass thing to do. I was mad because I was losing, and I don't like the thing that happened. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. It just feels like that's the kind of thing I have to take ownership of and then like not do in the future. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna like not let myself dislike when people interact in that way, right? Like,
No, you got to find a more healthy way to deal with it, or a less
yeah,
offensive way to deal with it.
yeah, and it's like it's about doing that for me, you know? It's not like is that guy going to forgive me or anything like that.
No,
It's about like how am I going to handle this in the future? What can I learn from this and how can I do better?
yeah, it should never be about you trying to get the person to forgive you, because you don't have
Yep.
control or the choice of that. You know,
Yep.
it is just like, I did something that made you feel a certain way. I am sorry about that. I just want you to know that.
Yep.
End of interaction. The
Yep.
end.
That's pretty much how it went down. And yeah, I mean like that's hopefully something that allows me to better manage the sort of massive amounts of undue pressure I put on myself.
Dude, we gotta have a talk about this at some point.
We have. It's on me.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, but I don't know. I feel like maybe enough has passed
Yeah.
where maybe it's a little bit more fruitful.
Yeah, we'll see. Uh but yeah, it's just
That can be the All About Me podcast. I just therapize you.
no, that we've copped out of the All About Gerry podcast by making it about me. That's the exact opposite.
But it's me doing work.
That's horse shit, and you know it.
I'm working here. I don't know.
So what were we talking about? Elixir sucks? Is that it? Is that where we were at?
Yeah, could use some help for sure in the name of Kid Omega. Could maybe use one less restriction. That would be cool. But I think we're just not in a metagame where it's like, oh, a death or like a Mockingbird is super meaningful. So then doing it and then venoming it and then bringing it back or whatever, or even like venoming your Gwenpool or something is like, it's not enough. And it's too slow. It is too high of an opportunity cost, too much ask for the return you're getting. And a big part of that problem, I want to be clear, is the fact that stuff like Thanos does exist. And like their output is much higher than yours.
But like even like that stuff is solvable with Kid Omega, right? Like imagine the Gwenpool stuff, except what you're doing is play Kid Omega, play Firehair, play Gwenpool on 4, revive her on 5, right? Triple Gwenpool procs? That's ballin'.
Sure that's enough.
It's still
good.
ballin' though. Like that's a big deal. You can't do that now because if you're gonna elixir a Gwenpool, you want to elixir the Gwenpool on turn 5, which means the Gwenpool has to die on turn 4, which is not happening. And so you just these are all things where it's like this card is doing something that is strong. I can conceive of it being strong. It is missing Kid Omega, like very explicitly.
Yeah, I do agree with all that. Card not weak, but current context and whatnot is like, yeah, that's a skip from me, I guess.
Yeah. What about Zorn? Another 2/3. What's up with this season, actually? We got 2/2, 3/4, 2/3, 2/3. That's
3/4.
Yeah. What's the deal here, dude? They didn't learn anything from that February season, did they?
What was the February season?
Sam Wilson with like all the Hulkling like not Hulkling, all the like Red Hulk and it was like Red Hulk and Joaquin Phoenix, not Joaquin Phoenix, Joaquin Torres, all those cards, right? Like it's just a bunch of small guys that are like kind of okay, and then like one big banger, which was Sam Wilson, and in this season is Surge.
Yeah, I'm the Thaddeus, to be clear, instead of Red Hulk, but same.
Wow. Yes.
I haven't seen that movie yet.
I didn't get either of them right. I said Red Hulk and Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, you remember that season?
Yeah. Remember that season I fully hallucinated?
Joaquin Phoenix and that 2/2 Hulk? That was crazy.
That was insane, dude.
I drank some of this water without fluoride, now I'm hallucinating.
Thanks, RFK.
Or was that because of the water I drank with fluoride beforehand?
Yeah, the water you drank with fluoride allowed you to hallucinate that the government ever did anything good. Now your eyes are open, man. You're out of the Matrix. What is happening?
Still tastes weird, bro. I don't know.
Weird in what way? Acidic, minerally. What's going on here?
Maybe minerally? Also, this is the last from this case. Like the rest of the case was fine. It's not like, oh, first water out of the case, now I have to burn this whole case.
Weird. I don't know. I'm not a bottled water connoisseur. I just drink water from the tap. I live in an area with like shockingly good tap water, which is nice.
I have a filter, but I just find that whenever it doesn't matter what it's in, whether it's like a glass or a water bottle or whatever, I just forget about it. But if it's something with like a see-through thing with a cap on it, I feel like, oh, I gotta drain that, because if I don't, I'm like spewing, gotta finish my beverage.
I've just discovered something that I presume is animal related, and I have never, I don't know what animal has created this. I don't know what I'm looking at here, but I assume it's somehow related to my cat and she left it there for some reason. Because
For you, big dog.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know what it is, and I don't really think I want to, but it's there. My cat has just taken up residence in this room whenever it's open, by the way.
Nice.
Like she
Well, if
will
you
just
keep it closed, that makes sense. They'll go in it whenever you open the door.
yeah, I try to keep it open enough that she doesn't have that natural like I have to go in there reaction. But yeah, she'll just walk up to me and then just start meowing, and then what happens is I meow back and then she jumps up. And then oh, she's doing it right. She's hello? Okay, she's not meowing. She doesn't need to come up. But it's definitely a real thing. She'll just like wander in here and start like yapping at me.
Well, again, you said it. This is going to be on the internet.
Check it out. Told you. It's it works every time, and then she just does
she
this.
just keeps climbing. She keeps climbing. It's so cool.
Yeah. And then she'll just sit here and switch shoulders the entire time. Like she'll just and that's like
your cat rules.
Yeah, she's cool as hell. She's like a very brave idiot, and that's a cool archetype for a cat to have, because it means that like every so often we'll just hear like a crash from another room, and it'll be like, I wonder what she did this time.
Yeah, that is Ren. He is also the brave idiot archetype.
Yeah, the thing about this little lady is she was very sick when she was young, so like she's like a small and weak cat. She does not understand that at all.
No,
she has no concept of her physical limitations whatsoever. She thinks she is like the coolest, biggest thing of all time. Yes,
it's so
she is amazing.
Cute.
She's amazingly cute. But extremely like she'll get it. She'll go up somewhere and then not be entirely sure how she can get down. Like just one of those ones. Like in the process of getting down, she may like lose her footing and fall, kind of thing. She's like clumsy and like pretty ungraceful as far as cats go.
I may have even shared this on this podcast before, but Ren has gotten trapped behind the refrigerator twice.
That's awesome. That's actually awesome.
I had to lower a blanket so he could climb up it like a ladder to get him out.
That rocks. One thing that's an upside about being me is like if my cat got trapped behind the fridge, I'd just move the fridge.
I could have done that. Like I pulled it out a little bit so I could lower the blanket or whatever. It just seemed like I didn't know how much slack the cables had and everything. Like I didn't want to mess things up. It just seemed easier to fish him out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, she'll just do this. She's like a guest on my stream now every so often. She'll stay for however long she feels like it and just pretty much sit here and get butt scratches and then just like switch shoulders until she gets bored.
Dope. As far as Esme.
Yes.
Good in negative, obviously.
Extremely.
Similarly, I think that there are potential homes where she would be quite good, but those things are not good.
Where it's just like Mobius gatekeeping, Thanos gatekeeping, all that kind of stuff. Like the fact that the best deck is a Mobius deck is just really obnoxious.
Well, certainly that, but also even if Mobius were not a thing, it's not the energy cheating sort of aspect that is huge. It's just that like your deck has a bad matchup into those things anyway because your point output is low. So, you know, she's mostly fair outside of the negative stuff, which I think is the use case for like using her in the unfair way, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're like, again, this is like a world where like in a world where Mobius didn't exist, there'd be other things trying to be able to use her in unfair ways. Like Pixie Mobius, Esme Gore, right? Like, or anti-venom stuff, where it's just like, I don't think that stuff has the ability to exist right now because Mobius is out here saying, look, first of all, if you are going to be a deck that loses to me, you better be the deck that loses to me for the most amount of points, you know? Like, if you're going to lose to me, at least beat the shit out of everything else. And all those other decks are smaller than negative, and so people only play negative because it's the only one that's like, at least if I don't get Mobius, I'm guaranteed to win.
Yeah, and even then, I mean, sometimes it's not that bad. But I don't know. What do you, in terms of hate cards, I hate to see that it's just so zero sum in this regard with cards like this, interactions like this. Like, is there a thing, not necessarily that you could do to Mobius, but maybe you make a card that is like a hate card that is maybe a little bit more appealing to play and people start playing it over Mobius, but it's not as backbreaking.
I mean, what about just a card that says your opponents can't set their costs to 0?
It would have to be like very aggressively stated because that is
Yeah, no, I mean,
mostly trinket text, right?
yes, it's just like it has to be attached to something else. That's the problem. Like it's got to be
Yeah,
like
zero.
a yeah. It's got to
Zero
be
is
like
oddly specific.
okay, all cards that have their cost reduced cost 1 more.
Sure.
Like I'm trying to invent the Gorgon of Mobiuses, basically.
That's exactly what I was thinking about too. Is
Yeah.
like Gorgon is a good implementation of this sort of effect where it's like you get dinged, you get taxed a little bit, reasonable body, but it's not like okay, yeah, your deck just doesn't do anything.
Any card whose cost has been reduced below 2 is 2.
God, those words are ugly, but
Yes.
it might be along the lines of what it takes, sadly.
Yeah. Like where it's just like I think the real problem is that you can't make a Mobius that's worse than current Mobius because there's just no reason to put him in a deck otherwise, right? Like current Mobius is like sort of the floor, right? And like, yeah, you could be like, oh, we'll take stats off or put stats on, but it's like if you're gonna make like a 2/3 with this text, it's got to be pretty close to Mobius. I feel like to be worth putting in your deck because like why would you not just play Mobius if you were targeting Mr. Negative with that slot, right? Like,
Right. I mean, ideally, it's maybe a thing that like dings Mr. Negative, but is also good against other things.
yeah. But like that's
Which,
Mobius, right? Where it's just like, why would you do that when you could play a thing that dings a bunch of other things, dominates Mr. Negative, even it's even good in the Thanos mirror, right? Like it's just
yeah,
randomly good all across the board right now. Oh, anti-venom? Fuck off. Oh, you're playing a Moon Girl Quinjet deck? Fuck off. Oh, there's a She-Hulk in your deck? Fuck off. Like Mockingbird, Thanos that costs 5? Fuck off, right? Like there's just so much outside of Mr. Negative that just like happens to shit can Mr. Negative.
yeah. The more you talk about it, the more I'm thinking about this as like a Luke that needs to have its ability sliced up to some
Yep.
degree.
Gotta chop them up. Gotta turn Luke Cage and Mobius into Exodia. They gotta be 5 different cards. They are too wide in their space, and their space is too fruitful to explore.
Yeah. Or I mean, look at the trajectory of Luke though too. It was like 3-4-3-3-3-2, right?
Yeah. That
Maybe
is
it's
he
time.
was a 2/3 for a little bit there.
No, I know, but I wasn't even going to count that because it's not a. I mean, Mobius was too, right?
Mobius was as
So
well, yeah. They were
yeah,
played in the same
I
deck. People look at that Loki deck and they're like, "Damn, that was busted," but like, fuck. Like, got
yeah,
Mobius 2/3, Luke Cage 2/3. Fuck.
yeah. Damn right, it was busted because
Yeah.
that was a big part of it. But it might be time. I mean, I think that Luke is doing more frustrating things in general than Mobius, where it's like Luke is also helping them, not just being
Yeah.
used as a disruption
Yeah.
tool. But and Mobius is fighting off the bad guy, the villain. I think a lot of people would look at it as. So maybe you don't ding him, but given the trajectory of Luke, if it did happen, I would not be surprised.
I think the frustrating bit about Mobius is he's not good enough to do his job when the deck that cheats energy is also doing good stats. Like, Mobius was not enough to deal with Surtur. Because it's like, oh, nice 3/3, you goddamn moron.
Yeah.
But he'll crush something that's more reliant on the discard or on the discount. The more reliant on the discount you are, the better he is. The more you're able to be fine without the discounts, the less relevant he is. So, like, he is a much harder tech card against all-in decks than he is against decks that have incidental discounts.
Yeah, that's certainly true. But again, I mean, that's kind of another reason to just slice them up a little bit.
I wish there was a card that was good against the incidental discounts. You know what I mean? Like, I wish there was a card that wasn't Mobius that was good against, like, Quinjet and She-Hulk and Mockingbird, you know? I wish there was something that covered that space.
It is possible we could then live in a world where there wasn't the this can't cost less than one kind of text that is sort of feel bad, but I also would not want to live in like Quinjet Thanos world where the stones all cost 0 and cycle, and you have to play a third of Mobius in order to do anything. Like, that's not good either. So
yeah, it seems a little iffy to me. Yeah, but yeah, like I think Mobius and Luke Cage are fairly similar cards. I've always found Luke Cage a little more offensive, if only because of just how like he works retroactively, where it's like there's not a single thing he doesn't do. Where it's like, Mobius, you have to like play him and stop them from doing it, and like they can play the Mockingbird on the same turn you Mobius, and you feel stupid, right? Like there's play there. With Luke Cage, it's just like the game doesn't happen anymore. None of what happened on any previous turn matters. I've Luke Caged you.
Like, Rogue versus Morbius is counterplay to the counterplay.
Yep.
But the incentive for Luke Cage is to hold it, is to sandbag it, so that doesn't happen to you.
I hate it. I hate it so much, right? Like, Mobius does engender his own counterplay. Like, you can play Rogue for the Mobius because they need to put the card on the board for it to do something. With Luke Cage, it doesn't have to be on the board to win you the game until the last turn of the game. Like, so like, conceptually, Luke Cage is significantly more offensive to me. But Mobius is in that.
Yeah, in 2 ways, for sure.
Yeah. Mobius is definitely in that combo, though. Like, it's
fighting the good fight, but a lot of folks catching strays.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to describe it. And, you know, I don't think they're going to 3-2 Mobius, in large part because I would be shocked if they were not aware of how good Mr. Negative is when it's not getting Mobius. Like,
yeah.
Like, that, I don't think people get it yet. Like, that deck is not supposed to have, like, a 50+% win rate. It's just not supposed to, because that's the premise of it. It's like, I'm a 45% win rate deck, but when I snap, you have to respect me, right? That's the whole thing. I feel like it's above 50% right now. And that's like, you got to do something about that. And that is legitimately, that is all Esme. That is what Esme has added to the deck. That level of consistency.
For sure.
Where, like, between Esme and Ravonna and Gore and all of that stuff, you just are going to be able to play. Even when you don't have Mr. Negative, sometimes you'll just drop 2 Gores on them. And it's like, oh shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, they once they got Esme, they took out Psylocke. And that's like, well, I have determined that I no longer have to be all in. Exactly. Yeah. And I can just build my deck in such a way where I don't draw negative. I can still snap on you and know that I am probably in a pretty good shape because I have magic. You don't have reality stone because you're not playing Thanos, you know, just.
Yeah, because if you were playing Thanos, you'd have Mobiused me, so, you know.
Yeah. So, yeah, it is all kind of weird and different and seems somewhat subtle, but it ends up being a pretty big deal. Whether or not you want to say that negative, quote unquote, should be better than a 50% deck, I don't know. I mean, there are people who like this kind of stuff, man. And I do think that it benefits your game to at least have periods where this kind of stuff is not only viable, but among one of the top strategies, because those players don't get the chance to have that time very often.
I think one of the things that's most funny about negative to me is that it's like, all right, I can finally limp into games, right? I'm finally going to be able to not be a fully reliant on Mr. Negative deck, right? But the limp plans all also get shut down by Mobius. Because your limp plans are all Ravonna and Esme. It's like, so like you're like, I finally have the ability to limp into games, and then you still just, no matter what, lose to Mobius, which is like, that's the thing that really sticks out about the card to me, is like, Mr. Negative is so, like, you know me, I hate Gore. I hate Gore very specifically because he is replicatable. This is a big idiot that lends itself to being copied in a bunch of stupid ways. I hate it. I hate him a lot. I do think it's funny that Mobius shuts down all the ways to be a consistent limp deck outside of, like, maybe a magic, right? I think that is sick. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I was going to say magic is the card where it's like, Well, it's effectively generating both players 7 energy, you know?
Yeah.
And that does allow them, it allows Esme to even under Mobius do something.
Yes.
So you can still win those games. I have won some of those games. You just play Iron Man Gorgor and okay, cool.
Got some gores. What's up, dude?
Rarity.
Yeah, it's just I feel like that deck is genuinely problematic and is being held back by Mobius existing mostly. And if we go into a world where Thanos gets nerfed, like I've already talked about how I feel like I don't know if there's a deck I feel good into all this combo shit with. If Thanos eats a fat one, I have some worries about a let's say Hela-ish meta.
Well, I hope it's not a fat one. I hope it's a couple small ones. And I hope that is enough to just ding it a little bit. And that's it.
A couple small ones will maybe do something. I'll tell you who they really need to hit. They need to hit Mockingbird. Like
I like Mockingbird for the fair applications.
Yeah, but like okay,
no,
how
no
many
one
of
uses
those
them for the
show
fair
up?
applications.
Yeah, like, yeah.
So I guess fine.
Like I think part of what Thanos gets to do is it gets to skate on. First of all, as a tech deck, it gets to have a bunch of tech options because it has a bunch of card draw. That's one thing, right? What am I looking at here? I see the time limited
Elixir.
win with Elixir. And
baby, 5 of 8.
I
got 23 hours left. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not.
Anything could happen.
I'm a big advocate of never letting a game dictate your playtime. Like, just never doing dailies. Just absolutely fucking refusing. I'm not putting Elixir in my decks. Are you kidding me? 150 gold? I'm sorry. I value my time. I'm just 150 gold. What is that? What is that? $1.50? You would pay me $1.50 to ruin my day for an hour? Fuck off.
I definitely do not make it a point to log in 3 times a day, but if I do log in, I'll take advantage of your shit. I don't care. If I log in and I don't have anything specific that I care to like play or test or whatever, it's like, all right, I'll dance. I'll be your puppet. I'll put Elixir in my deck.
I mean,
for my 150 gold.
From all the non-Elixir players you're matching up with, presumably, thank you. The Global Bounty. You're contributing to the Global Bounty. Good job, Gerry.
Is Elixir on that?
Yeah. I actually think it ended about, like, as we're recording, I think it probably ended. I don't know what the time frame on the Global Bounty was supposed to be, but I'm assuming it ended.
Me either.
Set today.
I saw people kind of complaining about like the messaging with it too.
Yep.
And
I will say this. I don't feel like I have a legitimate complaint about the messaging for it, but for the sake of trying to get some free shit, I will pretend I do. I will absolutely pretend to be aggrieved if it gets me some free Series 5 packs.
Listen, that's the thing. What do Series 5 packs even do for you?
For me, nothing. For my community, everything. I'm pretending to be aggrieved on the behalf of others. You know, this is like, I'm doing class trader shit.
Yeah, I just expect you to pull the ladder up behind you. I don't. why is this weird?
No, like I feel like I'm a man of the people in this case, where it's like, look, I don't really think I have a leg to stand on, but if it gets everyone free cards, I will absolutely pretend to be furious about this.
Yeah, so it is a thing where it is they're giving us free stuff, and it's not like I don't think that they have a fairly regimented schedule in terms of like how often they are doing events that effectively give you free things, or like the 7-day login bonuses. Maybe those are on a schedule. I don't know. But yeah, this seems to me like a thing where like it is free. Yes, they did scuff the messaging, but like I don't know how mad can you be? If
however mad it takes to get free stuff. Okay, like
I feel like they do stuff like this in order to get people engaged, to get them to log in and to play more. And if they blew that, it hurts them more than it hurts us.
Maybe. I question the idea of doing a stretch goal in the first place, because I can't tell you how many times I saw people say stuff like, you know, oh, well, we'll just get it for free. You know, they won't ever admit that we didn't have enough players to meet the goal. That would make them look bad. And so the CM goes on Twitter and he's like, I see people saying this. No, it's an actual stretch goal. Like, fuck you. Go get it or don't. But the thing that struck me about it is like, we were never on pace for it. Not one time did I look at where we were on the global bounty and that 40 million that would have been needed for the stretch goal and think, oh, that's attainable. 0 times. From 5 million to 10 to 15 to 25, we have never been on pace for it. And so it's like,
I know that I know that you're not going to be a slave to big gotcha. You refuse.
Yes.
Respect.
No, I will pay. I just value my money less than my time.
Yeah, fair. But my point is, like, you are never going to let them dictate your actions.
Yes.
Right? And so I think you not being on pace for the stretch goal is supposed to, in theory, incentivize you to be like, hey, friend of mine who hasn't played Snap or whatever. Again, like I'm saying, not you. I know that you are never going to do this.
Yeah, I don't have friends.
Like HSR has these things where it's like, oh, share your code with a friend to get, you know, a third of a pull, or it's probably like a fourth of a pull. It's just like pathetic. You know, but I think they expect people to do that to bring back lapsed players or whatever. It's like, oh, look at this unattainable thing. You could be a part of it. You could recruit, and it's just pyramid scheme shit.
Yep. In as much as I already am part of a pyramid scheme, in the sense of like being a creator for a card game, which is by definition advertising that card game, I'm not even getting paid for being part of that pyramid scheme. They need to introduce a way for me to get paid.
You are, but not by them.
Right. So like they need to do what Fortnite does and just be like, here's a creator code. Hey, if I want a cut of the my viewers' purchases. That's what I'm saying. I want a cut.
Yeah, that
pyramid scheme me up, dude.
Damn, dude. Like I mean, that's kind of bad incentives in terms of like card games where you're just lying about how good shit is.
The problem is I am too your viewers to buy stuff. That. I am too honest to do that, I think.
Me too. Definitely I would not mislead people in any way. So definitely give me those codes. I will handle it the right way.
Yeah, I promise I'll handle it responsibly. The thing is, they probably don't want me to handle it responsibly. It's better for them if I do lie. Elixir's busted!
Yeah. Correct! Look at this deck! My friend played a match of Magic Online against a very big Magic creator. Round 1 of a league.
Sure.
Beat him senseless.
Sure.
And then person posts a video where it's like, oh, just like destroying the leagues with, you know, this deck or whatever. So my friend watched it, and leagues are 5 rounds long. The video is 4 matches.
Interesting. Is your friend
his was not on there?
Is your friend that guy, Devil Man or whatever it is that LSV was posting about?
No, Magic Devil 666.
That's the greatest post I've ever seen. That man's been salting off for actually 15 years. I could only aspire to such.
Over.
That's incredible. What an incredible resume. Like that's the kind of stuff in Magic where it's just like there's people with a legacy, you know?
When people are like, "Oh, is it possible for human beings to change?" I'm like, I don't know, maybe. You know, like I'm a pretty good example, honestly, and I forget that a lot of the time. The first time someone asked me, like, what is a good example of change? I was like, I don't know. I'm sitting right here.
Yeah.
Right? But this guy's a very good counterexample.
He rocks. Like, it's just so cool, man. Like, as an amateur tilter, you know, watching a professional do it, you really get a sense of the gap between you and the pros.
True. You lack the fundamental knowledge that this person has gained over years and years of honing his craft.
Yeah, I'm like JV.
That's okay.
I'm like JV, you know?
Yeah.
And this person's in the NBA. It's just, there's a huge gap. There's levels to this shit.
I think it's funny that you brought it up. because the person who posted the video was Luis.
Wait, man, you mean SUV? You mean?
Yeah.
You mean?
Yeah.
Are you
Whatever,
at
man.
whatever, man?
Whatever, man.
Aren't you SUV? Fuck. That's still one of the funniest stories I've ever heard. I'll relate it to people who are unaware. Luis Scott Vargas, famous Magic the Gathering player, elite, like extremely elite, best of the best kind of guy, and his whole like group of people are based out of California, and so this story comes from someone who like, a guy goes to the store that they play at, right? Matched up with Luis Scott Vargas, who is known as LSV. And this is like, everyone calls him that. Like, it's like, I'm KMBest. It's like that, right? And the story goes, he matches up with LSV, and he looks at him for a little bit and goes, hey, aren't you SUV? And Luis presumably very nicely corrects him. And the guy goes, whatever, man. It's like,
hey, aren't you DM Beast?
Yeah, man, that's me. You got me. Yeah, that's
cool.
Me. Yeah.
Cool.
People call me KMBest all the time. It's like my version of people spelling rogue as rouge.
Yeah, I love that.
That just drives me actually nuts. I don't mind KMBest. That's funny, but
or
rouge,
even when
rouge
they're talking
drives
about
me
how Moulin Rogue is their favorite movie.
I've never seen that one, but that would drive me absolutely batshit.
How
is Moulin Rouge your favorite movie? How is Moulin Rouge your favorite movie? Okay, fuck.
You can't even spell it. It can't be your favorite. The end.
I just object to the idea that someone's favorite movie is
Gerry Thompson, you're my favorite pro player. No, I'm not.
I mean,
just by default.
Whatever, man.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. I really appreciate the attitude that person brought, because it's like simultaneously like, oh, I recognize this person, and then I really don't give a shit, which is the exact amount of respect everyone should show every card game creator, including me.
Oh my god, I would love that so much.
It's the exact amount of respect that should be shown to like a guy who is good at like a children's trading card game. 100%.
Yeah.
Like, aren't you that guy? Yeah, I'm that guy.
They're like, I didn't actually care.
Yeah, I didn't.
And I'm like, thank God. Yeah, we're gonna be friends. Great.
I didn't give a shit. You play a card game.
Yeah, why did I even ask that?
I'm a fucking lawyer. Why am I talking to you?
Yeah. I'm gonna go get in my Bentley now.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Enjoy playing your wizarding squares.
Yeah, enjoy playing Final Fantasy the card game. If you like leave you or me presumably behind explaining that Universes Beyond isn't actually Magic, frothing at the mouth or some shit.
Like, oh, aren't you Gerry Thompson? Oh, hold on, my wife just went into labor, so I'm gonna leave because this Magic tournament means nothing to me, and I'm gonna go spend time with my loving family who adores me.
Yeah, like I just did a video with a fellow content creator who had to leave because he has a kid. And it's like, I hope you understand that like that is by definition more important than any single thing going on in my life, right? Like it's just it
sort of takes precedent. Like you don't need to qualify it with anything.
Whatever it is that you're doing with your kid is more important than anything I would ever do. Like it's,
they finish pooping and they need you to wipe their ass. You're like, yeah, go by all means.
Yep.
I don't care if your kid is 10 years old.
I think that would make it worse, right? Like I would care more. You know, like if your kid is 10 years old and you got to do that, like, yeah, goddamn, dude, you got to go.
Well, I was not speaking as if like the kid was disabled or something.
That is what it came off like, because I feel like I don't think that would happen in any other scenario.
No, well, if the kid is like very oddly adjusted or their parenting strategy is a bit strange, let's say they homeschool their children, you know, that might be a red flag.
Right. The average homeschooler, of course, 10-year-old who still poops themselves. That's the take I just heard from you.
I would believe it more than if they went to public school. Wouldn't you? Lock it up.
Yes.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you would.
You got me there, I suppose. All right, fair enough. Do we want to talk about Zorn a little bit?
Oh,
Yeah,
not weak.
you thought we were fucking done with Marvel Snap, motherfucker.
I was ready to go eat a hamburger, you know?
Yeah.
Celebrate our troops. Yeah,
Yeah.
rah.
They're
Zorn, not
coming
weak.
home to no fluoride, baby.
Yeah, welcome back.
Welcome
We
back.
made this place better just for you.
Your teeth are gonna fall out. Zorn.
I mean, we have our God-given right for our teeth to fall out, KM,
It's true.
right?
Honestly, that might be the most American right that we have. We have our God-given right to talk on podcasts and lose our teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get it.
And
Zorn.
still poop ourselves when we're 10, I guess.
Yeah,
But
we have God-given right.
Zorn, not weak. I don't know. I don't think it like helps facilitate the strongest move decks. I don't know how great it is going to be in something like Scream or whatever. I don't know where the best home is for this thing overall. But the text on the card is not weak. That is what I would say. If something new ends up coming as a result of this card, I would not be shocked.
I keep thinking of it, and it's like, it's a 2/3. Like, that's what I keep coming back to. Is like, the inclusion opportunity cost on this card is low. The question is what else it wants to go with. But like, I like, it just seems like it's a reasonable piece of disruption that can be double-sided. It can be disruption for them and positive for you. It really misses 4-cost Spider-Man 2099, which is what he released at.
Yeah, I could see that. I just think that if there are decks where it's like, oh, the majority of their heavy hitters are like 3s and 4s.
Surfer.
Like, well, sort of. I mean, they could like brood or whatever, you know, but how are they going to win that location, right? It's stuff like that where it's like, yeah, this card is strong. It is for sure. It's just a matter of whether or not it actually fits in anywhere. And I also don't think that, that sort of thing that I'm describing is applicable in a world where it's, Thanos and negative and stuff like that. So
for many of the same reasons that like Juggernaut's a little bit worse than he normally would be, right? Like Thanos is filling the board up anyway. Who gives a shit, right? Like it's
yeah.
Like, oh, you're moving my stuff. Oh no, right? Like the more the board is full, the less the card matters. So my thought process would be it's probably not enough to survive on its own as a disruptive piece. But if there's a way to turn it double-sided, I think there is probably something there.
Yeah, I think the kind of locking a person out of a location is a thing to keep an eye on for future metagames.
Yeah.
It is possible that there could still be a deck that has a density of 3s and 4s where you're not locking someone out of a location, but like maybe that is a good card to play in Scream, for example. I could see that. But otherwise, I don't know, just if you ever are playing Hydra Stomper or whatever, you're probably playing this card too.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a move enabler. There is something to that, right? Like, turning it double-sided is going to be important. I expect to see a lot of people being like, aha, it's 2/3 goose. Like, I do expect a lot of, like, really shitty and reductive comparisons on day one. So if you're listening to that, please don't.
Yeah. Go into KM stream, or if you've been watching and been silent, respectfully being silent the whole time, wait until he's tilting. It's like 2 little things have happened.
Yeah, like I've lost like a 4-cuber and a 2-cuber.
And then one of your opponents GG'd you, right? Yeah. Came into the stream to GG you.
Yep.
E-face to E-face. And then that's when you're like, oh, hey, KM, have you seen this new card, Zorn? I've been here for 3 hours, but I decided to just ask you this now. I think it's a lot like Goose.
Yeah. On that note, I think it's time to undo the 4 padlocks on Gerry's basement door and let him out to get some fresh air. We'll do an episode of the Gerry Thompson podcast with KMBest at some point whenever I get a response from him that isn't ugh about it. We'll see how the mood strikes him. And thanks so much for watching. I've been KMBest. He's been Gerry Thompson. He is at the time you're watching this presumably back in his basement, but between then and now we'll be out.
He doesn't let me out for very long.
Yeah, it's like a open the door, get him out on the grass to go pee, get him back inside kind of deal,
Yeah.